Always quiet on New Year's Day. A worldwide gets underway. I want to be with you night and day. Nothing changes on New Year's Day. New Year's Day, I will be with you again. I will be with you again. Under cloud and rain, a crowd was gathered in black and white. Arms entwined, the chosen few. The newspaper says, stay as true. We can fight through. Solitude, we can be one. I will begin again. I will begin again.
And here we are. Whoops. Sorry, I was going to do the whole video, but I decided not to. So happy New Year's Day and happy 2026. That is Real Bono New Year's Day, everybody. How are you, ASRIA? This is my first show of 2026, and I'm very happy to be doing it with you. So cheers, Slancha, and happy 2026 to you, my soul sister from across the pond.
Oh, absolute cheers, honey. This is a complete and utter honor. So thank you so much. It's always a real pleasure to be on and to be the first show and everything. And I just hope the sound and everything was okay in that video. But yeah, this is fantastic to start off the year with you and on screen and everything is fantastic. So I don't know if anyone else has felt it, but energies have changed. Now we've gone from that, was it Year of the Snake and shedding everything to like the #1 year. So let's see how that goes. I mean, we've still got the real new year in April, May, but I've certainly felt the energy change. So let's see how we go.
Absolutely. Now, ASRIA, I absolutely agree with you. I feel that the energies have changed. And I don't know about you, but 2026 sucked. I mean, 2025 sucked. Okay. Now, I will say there was highlights and blessings and gifts. Meeting you, meeting Tina, meeting Kate, meeting Peyton, meeting Joe and Scott from Truth Stream, and going to JISIG and going to and meeting all you and spending time with you and Tina in person. And, you know, we had a great time. I mean, you introduced me to fairies. I was open to the fact that there were such things as fairies and mermaids and elementals and gnomes and all that. But when I went to that magical forest with you in the UK and I saw the fairies, real time, the dragons, remember the dragon mound that popped up? I mean, just all the things that we saw. I'm completely amazed. So I shouldn't say that 2025 completely sucked, but it was a hard year. There was a lot of endings and a lot of God clearing out the people, the places, the things, the circumstances, the relationships that no longer served me. And the people that I was not going to walk with in the future. Just a total, you didn't heed the warnings. You didn't take my directives and my advice. So I am going to rip out the people, okay? Like literally just fucking pluck them out of your life very drastically, very harshly, very abruptly. And yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. There was some amazing blessings, as you said, yourself, Kate, Peyton, and a few others. I mean, as you said, walking the path relatively alone for so long, and then being in this group of amazing people and souls who nourish and cherish. And you said, like, we're all each other's cheerleaders. So yeah, I mean, 2025 was definitely, a shedding. And if, as you said, if you didn't listen, it was going to do it anyway, because there's some people who need to go on and do things, and we can't if we're still dragging all that stuff. And this is coming from me as well personally. There's been some huge removals and places to move and things like that. But I think absolutely those moments, as you said, in the forest. I mean, come on, I've been going to that forest now for like 4 years. And it was only when me and you went into this particular area that dragon mound was there. I mean, come on.
I know.
And I've been walking through it, walking past it, seeing, or as you said, the elementals, seeing like the various other beings there. Great big dragon mound. No, we'll wait for ASRIA and Dee to come to show you that one. So very, very blessed.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. And the things that we saw in that forest, you introduced me to so many things. You were responsible for me figuring out who Adam Munden is to me. I mean, that you were responsible for that in the forest. I'll never forget that. So meeting you and Tia Bean in the UK was the highlight of my year. It was a blessing. It was a gift in a really, really hard year. It was a very intense year. And it was the year of God, like clearing out the closets and taking out the trash in my life, really. Just taking out everything that is toxic in my life, everything that no longer serves me, everything that is holding me down from my higher self and where I want to be in my ascension, completely cleared. And I think many of us were under the disillusionment or misunderstanding, I guess I should say, without making up my own words, that 2025 was going to be the year that a lot of things change. And there was a lot of change, but I'm getting more so than anything else that I'm getting that pretty much this is the year of 2025 was the year that it was a setup for 2026. You know what I mean? It was like a stepping stone. It kind of it was the year that was kind of like, the stepping stone to kind of prepare us for 2026. What do you say, ASRIA?
Oh, 100%. Because I know like some people were saying, towards the end of 25, I keep wanting to say 26 as well, that again, there was a lot of downtime, there was a lot of sleeping and things like that, because, well, you need to rest before you start doing the work. And if I must say, I mean, I know, as I said, we've all had each other and stuff, but well done to yourself, Dee, and me, and everyone out there who has got through it, who has still stayed in their sovereignty, still stayed in their authenticity, still has gone, you know what? Yeah, okay, I went through that. That's great. And actually, I'm going to come out stronger rather than keep on staying in that lower energy. If you are still in that lower energy and you're still working your way through, keep going, because it is 100% worth it. And I think as we are now in that 2026 energy, as I said, it is that number one. So there is that renewal. You do have like that fire and air element as well. So there are different energies and different elements to hold on to. But I would just very much like to echo the fact of pull in that energy that you had within yourself, because as I said, you may have had people around you to help you and to support you, but you done it at the end of the day. So you have that strength within you, and that strength that saw you either all throughout it or that last major hurdle that you got over or that you're getting over, that was you. Because it was the nights where you woke up at 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock. It was the times when you didn't want to eat and everyone was saying you have to eat, and you're like, I really don't want it. Everyone's saying, oh, why are you spending another day on the couch? Because I want to rest. And you don't, and you rested. So, because again, this is my talking by experience as well, and I'm the worst one for rest. It's like, no, it's a day I have to go and do something. So that was a big lesson for me to actually go, you know what, if I'm done, I'm done. Burnout is a thing. Especially obviously if you're slightly neurodiverse as well, burnout can sometimes come a little bit quicker. But that's another kettle of fish.
Yeah. 2025 was definitely a year to learn to honor your body, and it was and to know that, okay, it's not business as usual. A lot of the symptoms, because the ascension symptoms were off the charts, and the fatigue, especially towards the later half of the year, the end of the year, the last couple of months specifically, right Thanksgiving was hard for people. Yeah, that Thanksgiving, and then that led up until, I will say, until December 25th, first. Sorry, I have something in my eye. Up until the winter solstice, it was really, really difficult. And then something broke on the winter solstice, and then I feel much more calm. You know, nothing has really changed in my life. Things are still the same, but I have a different attitude. The energies have shifted. I don't really give a shit about my issues or problems. I have my moments, but more so than not, I'm not really caring about things. And there's just more of just like a peace, and out with the old and in with the new, and just more of an understanding that, you know, it's all a process. And I just have a lot more love and respect for myself, and knowing that I don't need anyone else. And, you know, I wouldn't want to go through 2025 again. It was a hard year. There's many ups and downs and goods and bads, and, you know, just like anything else. But just like the rest of our lives, you know, everything that we've gone through, every struggle, every heartache, every, you know, death, every loss, every betrayal, every battle, every hardship that we've gone through has made us the really, really, strong and courageous and kick-ass soul warriors that we are. It's made us the most amazing, strong light warriors. And because of this, it's like we can face any challenge now. And we wouldn't have our divine connections if we had such easy lives, if we had smooth, you know the saying, and I say this all the time ad nauseum, but calm seas make poor sailors. We need the rough seas. We need to sail through the tempests of our lives. in order to become strong, to become resilient, to become the formidable light warriors that we are. What say you, Azria?
Oh, 100%. And the only thing I would add on to that really is that as we are going through these ascended times, awakening times, higher frequencies, going into disclosure, however you like to, going into a new year, however you like to put it. I keep referring to notes because there was a few things that came through just before we come online here, and it's really around holding space for others and knowing how to, because there was other people that held space for us. But the thing is that as we move forward, it's not necessarily, as Dee was saying, going to be kind of like the easy peasy ones. It's going to be people who are starting to ask the questions about multidimensionality. It's the ones who are going to start, maybe their gifts are going to start coming online, whether it's they're going through, they've taken that step to end that relationship, to stand in their sovereignty, because you've done it. I mean, yeah, fair enough. Again, 100% agree. As Dee said, sometimes you just have those days where you're a little bit low. I mean, come on, we're human. But I think for those of us who have gone through what we have and are standing in that sovereignty and who are standing in that authenticity, because there are so many people that are going to be, in, to coin a phrase, awakening or waking up, or whatever however you like to term it, whose frequency are rising, so they're starting to see more, hear more. They will need somebody not to judge, not to question, not to try and fix everything, but just to hold space. Because sometimes that's all we need. Sometimes that's all we need, to be on the phone to somebody for 2-3 hours just to let them get all of that out. Because 9 times out of 10, we know the answers to our own questions. We just sometimes need to hear it.
Yep. Yep.
So I think those of us who have done that, as much as it's within our own sovereignty, I strongly feel, and my team and guides will say the same as I've just put down on here. So yeah, hold space for those with love and not judgment.
That's beautiful. Yep. So 2025 was the year of like clearing, getting you in line, getting everything in order, God being the executive assistant of your life, putting all your ducks in the row, I say that too. I'll say, God, you are my mentor. You are my best friend. You are my executive assistant, my doctor, my lawyer. You're everything to me. But seriously, like God is like making all the appointments, setting up your life. And now that God has set us up for 2026, the golden year, what do you see in terms of our personal lives, energetically for the collective? What can we expect? What are your guides telling you, Azria?
That's a really good question. I think the main thing around that is, as you were saying, it was the year of the snake, so it was the shedding, but now it's the year of the was it the fire horse? So it's the boldness, it's the intensity, it's the independence, so again, it's being that sovereignty and authenticity, but most importantly, it's also being in that heart consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
That is really, really going to help push us into that 4D, into that 5D, because that's when it's raising. So for you personally, as you asked the question, Dee, it's really around not always looking for that external. It's the going in to that heart space, that heart consciousness, and that's how our energy is then vibrating out and leveling up, and as the collective. So that's in as you. But then if, I don't know, 40% of the population do it, or 50, or whatever the numbers that people are throwing around at the moment are, one then helps another, then helps another. So as much as you said, we're coming together as communities, but our frequencies and our vibrations are matching those around. I mean, it just proves with myself, Peyton, Claire, Tina, let's say coming together because our frequencies and our energies are going, yes, you're one of me. We're all vibing in the same way, if you like. So I think very much one of the things I do repeat is that heart consciousness, but the boldness, the intensity. I was just seeing if I can actually read my own writing from when I came out of the session. I'm going to leave it with those for now.
I'm glad you brought up the heart coherence and you know, vibing with your heart, because that's what I was talking about that on my live last night, is that many of us are under the false impression that we're going to think our way and reason our way and understand the ascension with our human 3D egoic brains, and that's not the case. We're going to feel our way, and we have to be in heart coherence. We have to be in alignment with our heart, because that is actually, there's another brain in our heart, and that's the brain that's connected to our higher self, to our divine self, our whatever you want to call it, your spirit, your soul, your 5D self, your higher consciousness. That is your connection to God, Yeshua, the divine. All right, that's your connection to spirit. And so it's very easy to get into heart coherence and get out of your brain. Our egos have served us, and our egos are not going to completely go away until we completely ascend into 5D, because we might need our egos. If somebody's chasing us with a knife, our ego is going to help us, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to be in fight and flight, and we'll be able to take care of ourselves. However, our ego is going in the background, and that voice is quieting down and shutting up more, and in the forefront and more in I'll say in your face, so the ego's going in the background, and in the forefront, in the front is going to be our higher selves. And how do we connect to our higher selves? That's through our heart. And it's very easy to get into heart consciousness, as you say, or heart coherence. And that's basically breathing and breathing in. You can what I like to do is actually touch my heart. Well, touch the area, put my hand where my heart is, and breathe in and breathe out. Envision that you're breathing in through your heart and out through your heart, white light in and out of your heart. It's just as easy as that. But 2026 is going to be a very, very profound year. It's going to be a year in which I just think that we are not even prepared. I think we have an idea, but I don't even think we're prepared for the wonders, the amazing things we're going to discover about ourselves, the psychic gifts and the metaphysical gifts that are coming online, and just how we're going to find out that we've only seen a little tiny sliver of reality as the veil completely, I will say, erases, as the veil is completely done and gone. What say you, ASRIA?
Definitely. And the other thing, now I can actually read my own writing, that they wanted to say as well within the self, is that, again, one of the things, I mean, we'll move on, I'm sure we'll move on to the collective and that in a minute, but on your own is more about the vivid dream states. And that follows really nicely from what you were just saying, Dee, in regards to we've just seen and we're aware of like this much, where actually, I mean, your eyes only pick up that much of what is actually really on this planet. But one of the things that my team have been saying is around dream states, is maybe at the moment you might be getting really vivid dreams. Try and keep like a journal, or I record them as soon as I wake up, even before I've opened my eyes, record. Because again, when we go out at night, as we call it, and we go into our dream state, we're going out and doing way more than maybe some of us actually realize or comprehend at the moment, and that is perfectly fine. But as we move further, It is these messages, it is these timings, it is what our higher selves are actually doing within the time that these meat sacks are resting. That is a part of that key awakening, if you like. So within yourself, be very and even if you get dreams that you think, oh no, I had that a week ago or had that 2 weeks ago, you will start potentially, you may then start seeing patterns as well. Because as much as I said, it's the collective, it's as Dee was saying, it's what is happening within yourself. And because we are then getting together as communities, we can then start talking about these things, and then somebody else might go, oh yeah, I had something like that. Oh, I'm getting all goosey. Yeah. So just be very more aware of that dream state, because it is all starting to come through that what they're calling, and I can read my writing, the quantum communications, and that is at night. It is, as I said, but it's being translated within that heart. It's coming through that what's it, the 12th chakra. It's coming through the third eye, and then that's where we feel it, that's where we translate it. So a lot more of, as I said, this what they call that quantum communication.
I love it. Yeah, what I'm getting for 2026 intuitively is that, and I basically, I get downloads from my higher self, and I get my downloads from God and Yahshua, and what they're telling me is that 2026 is the year in which we become our own spiritual gurus. We become our own, let's say, authority. Because the world as we know it is crumbling. I'm seeing, they're showing me the Tower card right now. So it's like the Tower card. It's like everything, all the false matrix, false cabal world that we have been living in is crumbling before our eyes. There's going to be political changes and societal changes. There's going to be change in governments. There's going to be exposures, disclosures. In other words, we, up until recently, until we awakened as a collective, we have been seeking outside to get our, let's say, validation, our directive, and our opinions. And now it's that we did all our work. We got rid of all the dead weight, and we cleared out our closets to bring in the new. And we did our dark night of the soul, and we did our spiritual work in 2025. Now is when we focus inward, because if we focus outward and we get our views, our opinions, our validation, our directives from the outside world, that's crumbling, that's changing, that's in the process of, let's say, a rebirth, we're really we're going to be confused. We're going to be a mess, because the world is tumultuous right now. It's changing, it's crumbling. So now more than ever, we have to be very, very self-assured, really, really self-centered, and in that heart coherence, so that we are secure in ourselves. We get everything that we need in ourselves. So then when the outside world goes nuts and society crumbles and it falls, which it will, and things get crazy, which it will, I can't tell you exactly what time, but we still have money systems coming. We still have exposure, disclosure. We still have people taking back our governments. We're still in a spiritual war. And as things come to fruition and come to a head in 2026, now more than ever, we need to be our own gurus, and we need to be solid as a rock in our own consciousness, in our own being, knowing our self-worth. We have to be our own safe harbor in the tempests of the collective energy, which is going to happen in 2026. Do you agree, Azria?
Yeah, I 100% agree. And also to, I think, add on to that as well is, I mean, you may be asking, well, that's good, but how? Because I also feel that there is, as you said, there is so much information out there. Is just stepping back a second and asking yourself, how does this feel for me? Put in, as Dee said earlier, hand on heart. I also put my other hand sort of solar plexus area. So then it brings that all into alignment. Put one hand on one hand on the other, and go, it could even be as much as what am I having for dinner tonight? Like, even like starting off small like that, because you may be listening to other programs and things like that, and you think, oh, well, on that program they said this, and on that program they said that. Like, not saying anybody's wrong, not in the slightest. But how does that feel for you? It might not necessarily align with you. So just take those few seconds and go, how does that feel for me? Does that align with me? How does that feel for me? Because, yeah, there is still, I absolutely agree. There is still a lot more to come. And I mean, there's stuff around, I think, towards the end of January, as we go into February, again, more of those energies changing as we start going into sort of spring into March. There will be, I think, a lot more of the narrative out there in the media about more 3i Atlas, about having visitations. There's going to be more, as you said, around the money systems that we will worry. There is that fear element, and that's where they'll try and put the collective back into that fear base, because it's money. And don't get me wrong, it touches all of us. I'm not saying it doesn't touch any of us, it does. But that's when you take the step back. And then lastly, you have other areas that will also start impacting again in other countries with the wars and things like that, because you will have the breaking of various, what they told me is kind of like the breaking of shells. It kind of needs to get worse before it gets better. So that final huge push before the shell breaks and people start moving on, and communities talking and governments talking and so on. So we are in those wars, and there might just need to be that final push. But I do strongly feel, and one of the things that they were also saying, which is going to be really surprising, and it follows on from what you were saying there, Dee, around going in. My question is there's a lot of looking up, and I know I've even said on the programs before about keep on looking up, and absolutely, but where they're asking, say, to look now is also in our seas and our oceans, because there is going to be so much coming out of there. And I really feel that that's one of the reasons why I said you're having more in the public domain around looking up, because actually within the seas there has been a number of discoveries lately, and there's going to be more, because there's strong belief that there are other technologies underneath there. I know you've mentioned about med beds and things like that, Dee. I mean, I don't know if it goes as far as that. I have absolutely no idea. But certainly within the next year, it wouldn't surprise me if we're told to look up even more. And I said, I'm not saying that's wrong, because I mean, there was loads of visitors here last night, which was wonderful. But as a whole, as a collective, throughout this whole year, because remember, a year is a long time, even though time is going pretty fast, to help bring those technologies. And that's what our governments are very much aware of as well. I mean, people talk about Antarctica and places like that, but again, probably that's a whole can of worms to go into. But the oceans and the technologies that we're going to start seeing, and some of the older technologies are going to start coming back even more. I mean, I talk about copper a lot. That is going to start being used more. So again, when you're asking yourself, does this feel right to me? Just be very aware of, again, what you're using around you, what you're putting inside you, i.e. the foods and the chemicals and the this and the that, as well. Because remember, everything like that also has an impact on your frequency, on your vibration. Alcohol, meat. I'm not saying don't eat or do any of these things, but again, just bringing your awareness back to those as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that, if we want to do predictions for collective, for personally, I feel that in personal lives, those that are on the forefront and are awakened or spiritual, or let's say, know that there's more to life than just the physical, people that watch my channel and yours and others like our channels. I just feel that it's we're going to be shocked and amazed with our metaphysical gifts coming online, the intuition. We're going to start to see more of the fifth dimension as it bleeds through, because it's superimposed on us. That's why some people see ghosts, because it's just, we're sharing the same space, so to speak. It's just a different vibration, a different dimension. And as the veil is lifted, and it's pretty much lifted, it's pretty much non-existent, but it's lifting more and more individually for people. I mean, for some people like ASRIA who can see the other side, and people that are mediums who can actually see the other side. All right. It's what's going to happen is that more and more of us going to become mediums like me. I don't really see the other side that much. I see a little bit and hear a little bit, but I've noticed that over the past year, I'm seeing more of the other side. I'm hearing more. I'm getting to connect. So we're going to be, and it's not a one size fits all at all. It depends on your individual frequency, your spiritual work, and just, basically according to your individual frequency as to your psychic gifts and how you will see and interpret the other side. As you're going to more and more of these things of your, let's say, psychic senses are going to come online. You're going to start to see the other side and fifth dimensional, other dimensional beings. Hear the other side, smell. You're going to start to get answers to questions, start to get, maybe start to talk to people telepathically. You'll start to communicate with animals. You'll start to see the flashes in the corner of your eye, or the sparkles, the fairies and the elementals and the spirits that are, let's say, visiting you. I feel that more personally in 2026, you're going to be less, let's say, less enchanted with the outside world, which already started in 2025, less enchanted with money and power and gossip and, let's say, small talk and most of the insignificant material things and social trends. And you're going to be more going inward, more seeking solitude, more seeking kind of that hermiting spiritual phase where you're alone more, because let's face it, it's easier to control your energy when you're alone. And when you're so open, like you're going to be, and you're like this energetic psychic sponge, it's going to be a lot harder to be around people that aren't awake or in public places, because you are going to be absorbing that energy. Collectively, I feel there's going to be more and more truth, more exposures and disclosures. I definitely feel that, let's say, the fiat money system, especially here in the US, there's going to be a downfall of that, and there's going to be a change. Now, we do know there is going to be an ending of a monetary system and a beginning of another. And right now, the war is that, the global elites, the new world order, the bad guys are trying to collapse it on their watch. And then the White Hat Alliance, they're trying to collapse it on their watch. So there's this tug of war between the good and the bad folks that want to, because what's happening is that there's a reevaluation going on in the world. And what's happening is that they're no longer trading the US dollar on a lot of the companies, the countries that are reevaluating the dollar. So the petrol fiat US dollar is no more. All right. And so what's happening is that now there's a push on gold and silver. And what's happening is because the powers that be know that the money system is on its way out. And so there's a big change going on here. And as you know, you can't just roll out a whole new monetary system without a collapse of the old one in the beginning of the new one. And there's growing pains, and so people like us, like ASRIA and me and everyone watching the show and the individual channels, once the exposure happens in ASRIA's country, in my country, and all around the world, and people find out that their politicians are evil and they're really Luciferian Satanists and they've been doing horrible things to children and they're part of this cabal. And when we find out that our governments are not doing what's best for us and are not doing what's in our best interests, and you find out all about what your celebrities are doing, and they've been poisoning us and stealing money from us and using our birth certificates as chattel, and they've been lying to us and they rewrote history. And when all the truth comes out, the people around us, the ones that have been the ostriches putting their heads in the sand, believing that mainstream media is true and believing that our governments actually have our best interests. Well, maybe here in the US more so than others now that we have the Trump administration, but I digress. When we find out that they've been lying to us and slowly killing us, and they want us all dead, and there's a new world order, they're all going to be curled up in balls in fetal positions, having nervous breakdowns, and they're going to be extremely pissed off. And that's when we're going to have the civil unrest, the revolutions. People are going to want, politicians' heads on platter. And that's when we are really going to have to step in the forefront and be on the front line and help these people and guide these people. And this is the reason why we were awakened first. What say you, ASRIA? Do you agree or have anything to add on that?
Yeah, I mean, we are there to hold space, and that's very much is because we have gone through those times where I mean, even speaking for myself, I knew that they would say like Hollywood, that wasn't great for a long time. But then, as you said, as the mask is unveiled more and more, and you get more of this ego and the demonic and all of those sorts of stuff. As I said, we've been finding out about that and researching into it. But as you said, it's what feels right for you. Because when you, as you said, when you see these things on TV and the media are talking about, oh, this man is so great, but inside you're going, oh, no, he's not. It's like, no. I see a very dark energy and things around him. Stay in that. That is your truth. That is 100% your truth. And those people, as you said, who are going to be, who are the sheeple at the moment, who have gone, oh no, David Cameron, for an example, is wonderful. He's a great prime minister. Again, in the UK. No. Or again, I'll stick more with Hollywood and stuff rather than politics, because that just leaves a horrible taste in my mouth anyway.
Me too.
And again, maybe even seeing like how your own body reacts. I think that's why they just told me that one, because it's how your own body reacts to people, to situations, to whatever as well. But anyway, that was just a side note. But yeah, 100%, Dee, on what you just said around holding space. Because people will be asking questions. People are going to be going, is this actually right? And then you can go, well, yeah, because in 2025 and 2024, this happened, that happened. And as much as you know yourself, that when you started to find out that actually most of your childhood presenters and people you looked up to are actually really not very nice people, it's a shock, and it can hurt down to the core. I mean, especially if people have been idolizing maybe like the Taylor Swifts of the world, or I don't know, that was just the name that came into my head, or I don't know, whoever. I can't think of another one. As you can see, I'm well up into music and stuff. But and then thinking, well, actually, what did she do to get there? How did she do? What does her energy tell you? And so on. So it's, what's your truth? How does that person feel to you? And then when somebody comes to you and go, why, when I walk up to that person, I feel sick? Why does that happen, please? You'll know. And you can hold space. Because again, sometimes, as we were saying before, it is just that. And that goes back to the heart coherence, the heart consciousness, because you're not sitting there in ego. You're not sitting there in judgment. You're just sitting there going, I hear you. And it's okay.
Yeah.
Hollywood is frigging awful. I mean, still watch movies. I still do. I was watching Beetlejuice earlier. Still watch movies and stuff like that. But you know the people behind it. You know what they do, how to get there. And I mean, even going back to like the 50s and 60s and start and place it, and well, even probably back further.
Yeah. I mean,
But just
think
know
about,
you're there to hold space.
yeah, you are there to hold space. Yeah, I was thinking about Shirley Temple, my mother's namesake, what they did to her. And people thought it was so cute what she was doing, but think about it. Making
Very young child.
a young child and sexualizing her. Yep. Yep, not good, not good. But you're right. Yes, people are gonna fall apart. Everyone suspected, and it's funny because even those that were psychics for many years, you know, I did it part-time, and then I came out of the psychic closet after I was laid off in 2021 and started doing it full-time. But even those that have been psychic and intuitive and been in the spiritual realm or had, you know, been interested in spirituality and studied it or practiced it for a while, we all knew that there was evil in the world, but we didn't know to what a degree and how bad it was, and that all the people in charge are pretty much evil and working for the devil, and it's infiltrated every part of society. And there's been basically decades, so maybe thousand-year plan to end humanity. And when people, I mean, it was a tough pill to swallow, and it was horrendous when we found out the truth about these evil maniacal bastards that have been running the world, and how our reality is worse, more egregious, more evil, and more disgusting than any horror movie. It's a hard pill to swallow. So it's going to take some acclimation. And when what everyone believes, you know, when when people find out they've been lied to and their whole identity is based on a lie, it's going to be hard. So this is when we really, as ASRIA said, I love the way you so eloquently put it, hold space for people. And, you know, people are going to, after calling us the tin foil wearing hat, crazy conspiracy theorists.
Conspiracy, yeah.
They're going to be coming to us saying, hey, what's going on? What does this mean? I'm confused. And they're going to come to us for advice or to know what's going on, or to, you know, they're going to need for us to counsel and for assistance and help. So this is what we're here for. We are the pioneers. We are the visionaries. We are on the front line. We are the gurus, the teachers. We are the way makers. So we are going to hold the space, hold the light for them, and help them. Take our egos aside, because I know it's going to be very hard for us to say, I told you so. No, or not say, I told you so, I should say.
Then the told you so dance. Yeah.
And I probably will say, told you so. Sorry, because I'm human. I'm not perfect. I don't walk on water. But, you know, this is, and it's not going to be easy for people when, you know, JFK Jr. comes out of hiding, and people that they thought have passed on are really in witness protection, and people find out about clones, and that the moon landing was faked. And a lot of our history is based on bullshit and lies. And so it's not people are not going to take this lightly. They're going to be in a complete breakdown. They're going to be in trauma. All right. It's going to be a hard pill to take. So and we're going to be, yeah, woohoo, yoo-hoo, and then the other half of people are going to be in shock and shitting their pants. So hold on to your hats, because it's going to be a roller coaster ride.
A
What do you
bumpy
think?
ride.
Yeah, what do you think, Azria?
It's certainly going to be a bumpy ride. I mean, there is so much that's going to come out this year, but just for a little bit of clarity, in if like people have like tuned in late or something, when we talk about like we are holding the light, it's those who have gone through this whole 2025 bullshit, this whole year of the snake, where they've been shedding so much, that have gone through, who are sitting in their authenticity, who are sitting in their sovereignties. Myself, Dee, Peyton, Kate, Tina, I probably can name 100 more, and probably a few million more people who are then holding it for the other few million people who are, again, the sheeple who are going to, as Dee was saying, are going to start finding out these things, who are going to start experiencing stuff more, 110%. And one thing that I would also just like to add on to that is that when you do hold space, just a little reminder, because it was the biggest ass lesson that I sometimes have to get reminded of sometimes. Don't let your energy go, because it is so easy. But when you are holding space for somebody else, when you are there and you're inputted, because there are people who are natural healers, I think it's the word empath, and they give and give. And then by the time you finish that conversation, you're like, I'm shattered, I'm upset. And then it takes you a while to rebuild up that battery. And again, that level of protection as well. So again, you guys probably know this as well, but just a little reminder, because I said sometimes I've had it certainly last year where it was at times it was like, I ain't got any more to give, but you're not always giving of your energy. It's your sharing frequency. When we say holding the space, you're there to listen. You're there to not live in judgment. You're there to sit in that heart coherence, that heart consciousness. So just be very, very aware of when, as I said, you are, as I said, that natural healer, that natural empath. Don't burn your own battery out first.
Yeah.
Because it's easily done.
Yeah.
I said, I've done it.
Yeah.
Numerous times.
Yeah.
And it's a tough lesson. It's a tough lesson to learn, especially if you see people among people, clients among clients. I mean, I think there was one point months and months ago, I just went to the supermarket and I came back and I slept for like 4 hours. I was like, oh, I didn't do my protection. And I was just giving and giving and giving, and not always the right thing to do. So just be aware of when you are holding space for people. What is your energy doing? What is your frequency doing? And then also those elements of protection as well. I'm not going to go into them because everyone knows what their own ones are. But just have a cleanse of your own energy now and again. Because again, if you're watching the news or reading a probably show my age now, reading a newspaper, listening to the radio, again, it's picking up on all this lower level shit that sometimes just does attach to your own energy. So every so often, just have a really nice clearing, a salt shower, or using your crystals or whatever it is that you do. I don't need to tell you what to do. But again, it was just those 2 points of where your energy is going. It's depleting. And just to have a cleanse now and again, because this is going to be a tough time. It's going to be in the most amazing time in this next year around the discoveries, personal ones, as to what your then journey is going to bring, your own powers that are coming online even more, as Dee was saying earlier. There's going to be so much happening in the collective, but there is still that lower level crap going on. So just clear it off now and again.
Yeah.
Because you're going to shine and shine and shine.
Yeah, I see that happening with all of my personal readings. I've been doing a lot of prediction readings for next year. And what I'm getting is that everyone's going to be setting boundaries and taking care of themselves and really administering self-love and self-care and nurturing themselves and taking and mothering themselves and putting themselves first and asserting themselves in a loving, kind way, putting boundaries and staying away from, as you call the people, the energy vampires, the Debbie Downers, the psychic soul crushers, that suck your energy dry, the psychic vampires, and really learning to either walk away or just, walk away or distance themselves from people or really limit their time. This is the year that people become sovereign. They become their own kings and queens. And just remember, the isolation that you suffered in 2025 was your coronation. It wasn't your condemnation. Okay? You were separated and you were hermited and you were isolated for a reason, because you are, I hate to say chosen, because it doesn't mean that you're more special or any better than anyone else, but you chose to be on the front line. You chose to awaken first. You chose to put yourself in that hard energy, and you chose to awaken first because you are, let's say, on a more heightened or fast-tracked spiritual evolutionary path than the rest of the collective. Basically, is because you're not from this world. You're in it, but not of it. So you chose as a soul to reincarnate, to be put through all that shit, to be tormented, to be shit upon, to be, abandoned, lied to, betrayed, kicked, to get the shit kicked out of you spiritually, mentally, and physically, so you could be a light warrior for the divine, for God, to help bring upon this collective. So your reward will be this year is when all of our gifts come online. And just remember, it's all going to be fine. And you're being set apart for a reason. So embrace, as I said last night on my show, it is a badge of honor to be on the island of misfit toys. So it's an honor, a badge of honor to be part of the Black Sheep Collective, spiritual collective. So honor it and see it as an award and as a badge of honor rather than as a curse. And that's all I have to say, because folks, this is the year. This is the Golden Jubilee year. It's in the United States. It's the 250th anniversary of our separation from you over there in the UK. And we know that with their, I'm saying the lizard royalty over there, our separation from the lizards over there.
Yeah.
What did they call it? Not the reptoid. I can never remember the reptoids. Reptilians. Yes.
Reptoids.
The reptoids, the reptilians. But that's what I predict for 2026. It's going to be quite a year. It's going to be a bumpy ride. It's going to be amazing. And yeah, I do think there's going to be more and more sightings, and people are going to meet their star families and connect with their star families. It's going to be an amazing, amazing year. I don't think I've left anything out. Personally, all the people that have divine mates, whether it's a soulmate or twin flame, you're going to get together or either meet them or be in reunion, or if you've been in separation, you're going to come together this year, because it's not just about making your romantic dreams and fantasies come true. It's about you coming together and forming this energetic grid around the world that's going to help bring upon the ascension and help the collective spiritually ascend and vibrate higher. It's going to raise the collective vibration of the earth. Money wise, people are going to be just fine monetarily. They're going to come into wealth, and there's going to be abundance for all. If you have a divine purpose, if you have a goal and you want to give back to humanity, people are going to, their divine purpose, and they're going to use their gifts, metaphysical and spiritual and psychic gifts, to help better the collective. And yeah, I just feel like, just personally, there's going to be a lot of breakthroughs and significant turning points and changes and wish fulfillment and dream come true. And collectively, there's going to be a lot of turbulent change, and it's going to be amazing, like ASRIA said. But also, as my soul sister ASRIA said, it is going to be a bumpy ride, because whenever there is a beginning, we also know there is a death. So there's a death of an old way of life. And, you know, it's like you can't build a new home on an old dilapidated home. So the old home has to crash and burn, and then you rise from the ashes and begin again. So just know that 2026 is going to be an amazing year, and there's going to be wonder and excitement and many things that are going to blow our minds, but it's also going to be intense, and it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride. So just know that going in, and keep your heart centered and keep grounded, and just have faith and hope, and know that this is what we've been waiting for. What say you, ASRIA? We're going over a little over an hour now. So what closing words, advice, and or predictions do you have for 2026 for whoever's watching, my soul sister?
Well, you just put it so beautifully. You put it absolutely beautifully, and very much everything, yeah, we've been saying throughout this program. So I think the only thing I would add to that is how, as you said, our connection to our star beings and our star families and our star lineages is very much going to come online this year as well. Because, I mean, they're talking about visitations and things like that. But again, it's, if you are one of the ones that isn't necessarily from this planet, and that going in, it's finding out what other frequencies, what other beings are in those energies, what can you start harnessing in order to help and support you with going forward on this planet at this time. So that's another really, really key thing, because the frequency and the energy on Gaia on this planet at the moment is heightening. So it is in you. And so that means that connection to that star lineage, to those star beings, is going to be ever more important, ever more changing, ever more impactful. And that's what, again, I'm finding through not only my clients, but others as well, as how, as I said, yeah, impactful, and how that is supporting them so much. But yeah, bumpy ride, guys. But you know what? If you can get through 2025, 2026 is actually going to be very exciting, because you know what's coming. And always focus on the positive. As you said, breakdown of the monetary system, great. There's going to be another one. End of a government, great. We're going to get nice people. Yeah, okay. This time of year, it's snowing, it's dark, it's cold. Hibernate a little while. Spring's on its way. Focus on the positive. I know it sounds a bit corny, I know, but I had to end on that, didn't I, really?
No, it's true. It's awesome. You do have to focus on the positive, because as we always say, what we focus on expands. What we put out is a big boomerang, right? And that's just the way it has to be. We do have to focus on the positive. I love it. So I'm not sure. I did play a video New Year's Day by YouTube, by the real YouTube, the real Bono, because, you know, we know what he's been cloned, and the real one's in witness protection. We haven't seen the real one since, I think, around circa 88, 89, that thing. I'm not sure if the video, if you could hear it. So we're going to end on it, because it's New Year's Day. It's a great, great video. And you only get New Year's Day once a year, even though we know that they played with the calendar, and they took back about 14 days. They took out of the calendar back in the 16th century. So New Year's Day is not really today, But just for the sake of, as Azria and I were talking about, it's not really New Year's Day, as it wasn't really Christmas, because we know Yeshua HaMashiach was born in the spring. But because the collective has celebrated, the world has celebrated, last night is New Year's Eve and today's New Year's Day. We're going to celebrate New Year's Day and bring on that collective. If you want to get in touch with Azria and I, all of our information is in the description of the show. My website is currently down. I am refurbishing and doing a much needed change, and I'm really changing up my website. So in the interim, you can buy all my services and get in touch with me through the Buy Me a Coffee page. My email is still soultherapywithlady@gmail.com. It's just that if you want to purchase any readings from me or spiritual sessions, you'll have to go to my Buy Me a Coffee. I am doing psychic New Year's prediction readings via email. I'll put the link underneath there for anyone who could not get a reading last night on my live show. And Azria and I will be back doing these. We'll be probably doing our Soul Sisters Sundays with Kate and Peyton. And Tina will be joining us at some point, and we'll be doing more of these shows. So Azria and I wish you a very, very happy new year. We're bringing in 2026, good riddance to 2025 and onward and upward. And without further ado, here is New Year's Day by U2. And we send you lots of love and blessings. Bye.
The kingdom. All is quiet on New Year's Day. A world wide is underway. I want to be with you night and day. Nothing changes on New Year's Day. New Year's Day, I will be with you again. I will be with you again. Under thunder, cloud, and rain, a crowd was gathered in black and white. Ox and swine, the chosen few. The newspaper says, stay is true. We can fight through. Solitude, we can be one. I will be in the gap.